How you doing? Jason Cotton from ASP.NET Tutorial Zone. Today we have another vlog in the ASP.NET Tutorial series in the category of Before You Start in the topic of What is .NET. Now this is part 1, which is .NET is not a programming language. Now before we talk about what .NET is, let's talk a little bit about what it is not. If you're just getting started, it may be a little confusing because of how .NET is referenced by other people, but .NET is not a programming language. Also, if you're familiar with Java at all, it may be confusing because in the Java world, the programming language and the platform are all one. But in .NET, Microsoft has separated these two such that .NET itself is just the platform, and the programming languages are actually split out. So in particular, in .NET, you can actually technically use hundreds of different languages to program in. However, only two are really used in 99% of the .NET world. Those languages are C# and VB.NET. Now, a .NET language is written specifically to run on .NET, so even though you'll find Java.NET, for example, it's not exactly Java, it's Java modified to work in the .NET platform. Now, one of the other things that's actually different about .NET compared to a lot of its other competitors is that instead of upgrading .NET and going from, let's say, version 2 to version 3, and then not using version 2 anymore, .NET upgrades are actually like a new program being installed. So, for example, you can have an application that was written for .NET version 2, and you can run that on your computer. But then if you have an application that was written for .NET version 3, you don't upgrade your version 2 to version 3, you just install version 3, and now you have version 2 and 3 on the same machine. Now, one of the things to know about .NET is that being a platform, if you're familiar with what an API is, it's basically a library for software developers to use so that they don't have to write the same thing over and over again. .NET provides a very large number of API capabilities, and this is actually the big thing that sets .NET apart from a lot of its competitors. Microsoft, that creates .NET, actually created the client-server architecture, the mail-sending architecture, the workflow, I mean, you name it. There's actually a lot in .NET now, and it's expanding every year. But these things are actually created by Microsoft and given to developers instead of them being projects grown in the wild that then find themselves to be de facto standards. And there are definitely pros and cons to environments where you'll have a de facto standard versus a standard handed down by an authority. However, we don't have enough time to really get into that here. However, this video is just to try to provide you with an idea of what .NET is so that when we go into discussing ASP.NET, it'll make sense. If you'd like to know more on what we just talked about, there's only so much I can say in a couple of minutes, so check out the full article in the link below the video. Also, if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please like and subscribe. Thanks for your support, and I'll talk to you soon.